Let me explain the actual costs you'll face when buying a house in France. If you don't like numbers and figures, just remember this takeaway. To estimate the total cost of a house you like, multiply the listing price by 1.2. It's that simple. Now, if you want to know more, here is the breakdown for you, with all the costs you cannot avoid, and also some possible additional costs. It all starts with the asking price, which by law includes the agent's fee. You may decide you need to hire a surveyor to provide a thorough review of the property's condition beyond the mandatory diagnostics. Of course, such a survey is not an obligation, so its cost is yours whether you decide to buy the house or not. You will also pay for drafting the pre-sales agreement called compromis, although some notaire may not charge for this. You'll pay for the costs of land registry and mortgage checks organized by the notaire in the pre-sales agreement. If you choose to use one, you will pay a translator to help you understand legal documents, though some notaire have bilingual staff. Within 10 days of signing the pre-sales agreement, you'll need to provide a deposit of 5% to 10% of the purchase price, which is refundable if the sale falls through, unless you decide later to withdraw from the process after the 10 days. Usually the deposit is 10% for properties under €300,000 and 5% above, but there is no set rule and everything is negotiated by the parties and the notaire is not involved. After you have signed the compromis, you may also consider hiring an architect or interior designer for any planned renovations. Before closing, you'll receive a statement of account from the notaire, detailing all fees including the notaire's fee. The sale will only proceed if all the payments outlined in this statement have been received by the notaire's accountant on the day of signing. If you are coming from outside the Eurozone, for example the UK or the US, you'll need to cover the cost of exchanging and transferring your money into euros. You should know that only 20% of the so-called notaire's fee actually goes to the notaire. The rest of the money goes to pay local and regional taxes, so that is a tax similar to the stamp duty in the United Kingdom. This total stamp duty amounts to 8% of the price paid for the property, not taking into account the agent's fee and any furniture. Note that you can hire your own notaire at no extra cost, meaning that there will be two notaires working on the same deal, yours and the seller's. And there is no additional cost because notaires share the government set fee, which is based on the transaction amount. The statement of account will include your portion of the annual property tax, prorated from the day of purchase to the end of the year. And if you buy an apartment in a shared building like a condominium, you will be responsible for your share of the co-ownership fees for the remainder of the year. You will also need to pay for home insurance, don't forget, because the notaire will verify before closing. If you deem it necessary, you'll pay for a translator during the closing process. Utilities set up, such as water, electricity, and telecom, don't usually require any upfront payment. To set up utilities, you'll need a French bank account. Be aware that some banks require a deposit of up to €10,000 for non-residents. If you're taking out a mortgage, you'll be responsible for all associated costs, including the lien on the house to protect the lender. These are typically paid upfront. You may choose to hire a lawyer or solicitor, possibly bilingual, to review the notaire's work. Moving your furniture will also be an additional expense. Note that all costs, except for the price of the house and any furniture and notaire fee, are subject to a 20% value-added tax, which is included in any quoted price. Here is a list of the estimated costs of buying a property listed at €350,000. Price paid to the seller, €324,100. Agent's fee, €21,600. Value-added tax on the agent's fee, €4,300. It's a tax, so it's paid to the French Treasury. Administrative costs, €1,000. Your share of the property tax, €400. Stamp duty, €20,700, which is also paid to the Treasury. Notaire's fee, €5,200. Home insurance, €900 for a 150 square meter house. Currency exchange, €2,500. So the total of the mandatory costs comes to about €381,000 for this €350,000 listed property. Here are details of the costs of extra services you might have to purchase. A full property survey by a British registered surveyor could cost you €1,500 to €3,000. Translating a compromis could cost you up to €1,000 if you use a court-registered translator, but nothing if you use ChatGPT. And a simultaneous translator during closing could cost you around €500. Finally, moving your furniture could cost you €5,000 or €6,000 for a full house, or just the cost of hiring a truck if you do it yourself. So, in a nutshell, here is this video's takeaway. When you see a house you like, multiplying the listing price by 1.08 to 1.12 will get you an estimate of the real total cost if you were to actually buy it. In other words, all other costs usually amount to about 10% of the cost of the house itself. In my opinion, you should apply this rule of thumb to all listings. To be safe, always multiply the asking price by 1.2 and check if it fits within your budget. Simple. This video has been brought to you by the French Property Coach. If you're wondering what the name means, it's simple. I help English speakers in navigating French real estate. Whether you're looking to buy or sell a house in France, I can help. If you have a difficulty with an estate agent or a notaire, get help. If you're looking to file for planning permission and are frightened about the paperwork in French, I can help. If you want to make absolutely sure that nothing gets lost in translation, well, I can absolutely help. If you're house hunting, read my free guide about the process of buying a house in France. It covers estate agents, valuation, organizing your search, dealing with lawyers, money issues, the psychology of sellers, running a JIT, and more. It's 100 pages of practical knowledge, gained from my 15 years as a property finder. And with lots of hands-on insight too. Get the link in the video's description below. If you're looking for customized assistance for your own French property project, whatever the project, don't hesitate to reach out. It is that simple. We can have a phone or Zoom conversation, you don't have to commit to anything, and the talk is free. So what do you think? Give it a try.